Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to react to another episode of Lucifer. So this is Season 3, Episode 8, Chloe Does Lucifer. Sounds like a fun title. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here. Obviously, like I've said, I've really been into a lot of the episodes that they've been doing this season that have been kind of different and experimental. I've also been into the more overarching season plot that they're having with the Center Man. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in this episode. So far, it's like this season, you never know what to expect. So I guess I just want to hop right into it. Lucifer, Season 3, Episode 8, Chloe Does Lucifer.
On for everything.
What is this about to be?
Hours. I'm not sure even I have the endurance for that.
Don't worry, I'll help you. I'll be the top half.
Yeah.
We'll be the race car.
Hey, funny.
They knew what they were doing, titling the episode like that and then starting it out with that.
Imagine my disappointment when I realized there was no raging party.
It's a security thing. Worked for that Home Alone kid, but obviously you can't take a hint. Wasn't I being
Nice
clear
reference.
last time I kicked?
Chloe and Trixie. Well, so much for wine, women, and song.
Technically, all of those things were
Yeah.
represented when you count the post-game karaoke.
Lucy, there's
There you go.
absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying a quiet night in.
We don't know anything about her.
Oh, don't we? Generic artwork, dull clothes, beige furniture. I mean, even her fruit bowl's so tragically safe. No mangoes, no papayas, no...
Lucifer, she's already dead. You don't have to kill her again.
Ella, what's the cause of death?
BABFT.
What?
Big ass blunt force trauma to the head.
Ah,
Murder weapons missing.
Makes sense.
But
Such a dynamic young lady living with a Kim. Well, never mind. She looks traumatized. I'll go comfort her.
excuse me. Excuse me.
I was
No
wondering
photos
if she
of
could
the
see them in the background of her picture,
Sorry.
just looking at her.
I take it that you weren't close with your roommate?
Nah, I don't spend much time here, obviously. Besides me.
Okay, so is this going like somewhere where they're gonna have her, she's really interesting and a party person, and Kim is really boring or something? And so Lucifer wants to identify more with her.
Kim followed more people than followed her,
Oh.
if you know what I mean.
Hashtag shoot.
Can you think of anyone who would want her dead?
Kim. Gosh, kindred souls. This interesting young fellow and I, wouldn't you say?
Except that apparently he's slightly more interesting than you.
Well,
Whoa.
journalistic hyperbole, clearly.
Uh-oh, now he's about to be in a war of how interesting can they be. Lucifer wants to be the most interesting person in the room.
A homicide detective, huh? Wow. You just got even more interesting.
Funny.
Lucifer's
So
jealous.
did you. Just found out who our victim was fighting with. You.
Most interesting bachelor indeed.
That was a funny turn of events.
I wanted to ask you something. Help. So, where do you see it exactly? How? When?
I love how she's holding this
now.
knife.
Right about there.
You might be just the person to guide me
To where?
somewhere other than hell.
And I'm not talking bad Yelp reviews. I'm talking hell. Turns out, real. I know, right?
Is she just telling people?
But not as much as your dancing queen candle arrangements.
Hey, Linda, is everything okay?
Hey.
Real high.
That one?
Really?
That one.
You're right. This one's simple yet elegant. See, you're just...
I'll gladly train you.
Chloe does Lucifer?
I wouldn't exactly word it that way.
Get ready to
There's
go
the title.
full me, detective.
Okay, here we go again with Chloe going undercover and doing something. This is starting to become a really recurring thing, but it's always funny because it's always pulling Chloe out of her comfort zone.
Boiled down to a few tips. This is not paint by numbers. Goodness me, I need a drink.
Oh, thank you, Trixie. Just right on call.
Don't.
Okay, I've never once done that.
My point exactly. Meet Lucinda. Come on.
Lucinda.
Gosh, this is gonna be harder than I thought.
She can't just be Lucy. I guess Lucy is already what he goes by sometimes.
Oh,
crap. She's like, this elevator needs to hurry up. Uh-oh. Oh, no. You're running out of time. This is hilarious. They're making this so tense. Don't look at her. Don't. Oh my gosh. She just pushed him out of there. Come on, come on. This is so tense. Come on. Will she make it? Nope. That was crazy. That was a funny scene. Uh-oh. What's the look gonna be this time? Oh, snap.
Hi, detective.
I'm good. But
Right?
step 4.
She's taking the book.
What, you don't want to wear it?
It's not really Lucinda's style.
Right.
Fair enough. She took the bullet off.
The IPA, please.
No, not beer. Prosecco.
But I hate Prosecco.
Well, tough luck. Lucinda loves it.
What if, like, Chloe just ends up doing better without Lucifer? Like, the stuff Lucifer is saying just doesn't work at all. Because clearly, some people are finding Chloe more interesting this episode.
What's your name?
Lucinda.
Oh my gosh.
Not like a
That was
demented
amazing.
witch on crack. A deep.
It's over with. Oh my goodness, I can't even watch this anymore. He probably thinks she has some type of issue.
A little too much Prosecco on an empty
Okay, I
stomach.
guess that's a good
Should've had that
explanation.
sushi.
Easy on the bubbles.
Dang. That didn't work.
Man, are you a surfer?
Well, I'd like to surf in your eyes.
Dear it may. It's
Oh
lucky it's
my.
not a crime to be a cheese ball. Anyway, at least the
Yeah.
ice is broken. Now
Wow.
just make small talk.
Even
So
I know that was kind
drove
of
up to
ooh.
this meditation. Are you into splooshing?
Oh snap. Oh, I would be so uncomfortable. He said no. I am so done. Like, why was she just rubbing it on her face?
Change tactics.
Reaching in his glass. She didn't need to throw it in the wine cup or whatever that stuff was, though. I mean, like, waste of a perfectly good earbud.
Right, I'm clearly needed on the front lines. You just stay here and do what you do best. Nada.
I think you just got to accept defeat in this case, Lucifer. I think Chloe's going to be more interesting.
Plans coming up?
Now, I insist you put your mic back in immediately. We can't hear a thing in the truck.
You are being quite loud. Nice work.
Dang, that just gave everything away, but at least he kind of just told on himself by running like that.
Detective Decker, LAPD, we want to talk to you about a murder.
Who did he think they were?
You're not paparazzi.
What?
Oh, thank God.
I mean, the things Dad gets credit for.
He thought they were paparazzi, so he runs into a crowd full of paparazzi.
So you can imagine how stoked I was when she popped up on the Top Meat app.
No, I can't actually. You're saying that you used a top hat to get to a shoe. Lime derriere.
Ella's really sneaking around. Oh, she found her. I love how scary this all is. Like we're in a scary movie.
You're avoiding me, aren't you?
It took you long enough to catch on.
Had been tempted to help, and I'm not saying that I had. Now that I know you lied, poof, temptation officially gone.
Ella's just glad she got a reason to officially tell her to get out.
Okay, so all of this is just.
I mean,
Pathetic attempt to cover up the fact that I can't stop thinking about me. Me and my own brush with death.
I understand, Linda.
How
I
could
mean,
you possibly understand what it's like to be rotisseried by the goddess of all creation? What if I came back as a chameleon or something? Now I know that's never happening because I know, everything.
So how did it feel when you realized that Benji preferred Kim to you?
Sneaky. Don't listen to the detective, darling. She's trying to trick you. You just look into my eyes so we can prove to her that she's wrong.
oh wait.
Now,
I think she's about to
you're
prove
too
Chloe right.
sophisticated to care about your.
Want to stop posing and lying? It takes so
Doesn't
much
everybody
effort
in
to
LA?
make these pics look so effortless.
Well, so you're saying it's just all a facade?
I don't even know what that word means. I'm not worldly at all. Barbados? More like
What?
hashtag bogus. The most
Super
exotic
fraud.
place I've ever been is the gym sauna.
Maybe she was coming into some inheritance and someone wasn't happy about it.
I can't believe Esther was a fake. I mean, how did I completely misjudge her?
Lucifer, are you listening? We
'Cause
need
you're
to
a
look into
fake.
This windfall.
Detective, I think
just
I've been
playing.
spending too much time with you. It's turned my top hat radar rusty. Look, no offense.
Clearly,
but I think
Chloe is cooler than you now, Lucifer. Man, in this episode. They talk about these shoes and top hats and who's the most interesting person.
Questions than you used to when you didn't know.
I mean, they're different questions, but they're just as many, maybe more.
So you're still every bit the clueless idiot that you always were?
I mean, kind of, I guess. I guess you've got a point. I'm in the deal. It does help. I was like, what are they about to do?
Said that he hadn't met Kim
That's
until she
sus.
called him that night.
Oh, he met her all right. Kim hired him.
She hired him?
What?
Hacked his app? Doesn't make sense.
Unless
She didn't need to hack it.
Top Meat's encryption protocol is impossible to crack.
Why would Kim hire him then? If she's this genius computer engineer, what does he bring to the equation?
The image, maybe?
Look at him and then look at her. If both
Yeah.
came to you as
Mac, I love the
What
place.
are you doing, Lucifer?
Mr. Morningstar.
How about a gentleman's weekend in Vegas? I have to help this
Lucifer,
devil get
you
his
might be
groove
getting in the
back.
way
What
of
do you
things.
say?
Have a previous engagement.
Oh?
Is Chloe already there? Hey. Lucifer, just leave right now.
I'm gonna grab a beer. Decide for yourselves who gets the pleasure of my company.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I didn't.
Top Meat. He stole it.
What? Another phony?
Yes.
Sorry, Lucifer.
I suppose it explains the self-aggrandizing artwork.
Would you just help me? Lucifer.
It's right
I think
there.
I put the dumb into dumbbell.
Decided against the beer because A, carbs, and B, 2 cops showing up at my house on the same day.
Yeah.
Figured that must not be a coincidence.
Yeah. Dang, Lucifer, you
Still
kind of
think I'm
messed it
dumb.
up, even though you found a dumbbell.
Deduction does.
Quite heavy, isn't it? At least I got the density right. Oh, heads up!
Yeah. Would have been terrible if going off. That was smart of Lucifer.
Play.
Mac just couldn't let that head break. That was smart of Lucifer right there.
But
That was a really
in the
cool
end,
moment.
The shoe turned out to be interesting, and the top hat boring.
Right.
How can this happen?
You're gonna embrace your
to practice this being good thing. And bonus, I'll be around here more.
Hooray!
Bonus.
Sorry, Ella.
Being who you really are is never a bad idea.
Hey, there's a piece missing.
Is it the shoe? Yep.
No? Little face painting, maybe?
She's like,
I
nah.
don't think so.
This is a cool ending shot on the shoe. Pretty interesting episode, no pun intended. For me personally, it did feel like this episode wasn't as strong as some of the other episodes that we've gotten this season for the most part, but it did still feel like it was doing a good job of doing what it was trying to do and what it was meant to do. I really did enjoy the overall theme of this episode of, sort of being yourself and that being the best way to be the most, interesting, coolest person you can be because you're the most authentic. I thought that was a nice message that they threw in there. And it was cool the ways that they tied it together using, like the game of Monopoly and everything and having the pieces like the top hat and the shoe kind of color the way that Lucifer was categorizing everything and looking at everything throughout the episode. And also because Monopoly is kind of a game based on, making it to the top. And that also coincides with it being LA and everybody is there to be somebody. But oftentimes these people have something hidden inside of them or a secret that might, make it hard to actually authentically be the person that they want to be. So they're kind of making a false reality in a way. And that's what it kind of felt like was happening with the characters in this episode. All the people who on the surface seemed to be the coolest and most interesting people had a bit of a secret that they were, hiding. I mean, whether it be a really dark thing like, Mac having killed Kim and also, running this whole company that he was really just the face of. And he probably didn't, eventually he started to not like the way that she was taking it. But also, what's her name? Whatever the girl's name was who had the fake pictures behind her. Her name is blanking on me right now, even though I know it. But that was kind of her secret, that she was faking on social media with the pictures behind her and everything. So it was really interesting watching these people kind of have to confront that in a way. And then you had somebody like Chloe, on the other hand, who, when she tried to be somebody other than herself, it totally failed and backfired on her. But then when she was totally herself, it was working out way better. Until, of course, Lucifer came in and sort of threw things off anyway. But it all worked out in the end. Lucifer, this episode, was really like, really struggling with this whole concept of who's cool and who's not. And I think, in some ways that kind of still shows you, as even though he's been around for so long, it still shows you some of the ways he still doesn't completely understand humanity. And, he was not very well tuned at, picking up who's faking and who's not, like you might think that somebody like Lucifer would be. So that was interesting to see. And, by the end of the episode, he kind of realized himself maybe some of the ways that he's not faking, but I don't even want to say lying to himself. But, he kind of came to terms with the fact that he does like playing Monopoly with Chloe and Trixie rather than, going off on another fling sometimes. And that's something he was really undeniable. That's something he was really in denial about with Amenadiel at the beginning of the episode. So that was, I just felt like they just tied all of that together really nicely, and it was really interesting to watch. And it was a nice sort of metaphor for, for that whole idea of authenticity and what's cool and what's not. So I really enjoyed the A story here. Also, Amenadiel and Linda, I thought that was really cool, like what Linda was talking about this episode. I like how they tied it in with the last episode and kind of managed to, tie a bow on that. And, it's not like that last episode just happened and then like nothing, like we forget about it forever. They still kind of acknowledged it. And I thought that was nice, but they didn't just stop there. Then they allowed that to lead into a new piece of character growth for Linda when she talked about her feeling that now she knows the answers, and knowing the answers means that she doesn't have the same hope that she had before. That's another one of those kind of big monumental sort of thinking points that I feel like the show has brought up, that I feel like is so interesting. And I mean, like, it really puts you in Linda's shoes, because you're like, wow, that is really relatable. Like, every day, like everybody is kind of questioning what, maybe not questioning what they believe, but nobody knows for sure what, and not even that nobody knows for sure what to believe. I don't know how to put it. It's just that whether you know what you believe or don't know what you believe or anything like that, it's all still faith at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Nobody definitely knows 100% for sure. It's all, kind of just based on, the faith that you feel for whatever you feel it for, essentially. But with Linda, she's like, wow, I now have lost that ability to have that faith in anything, because I know specifically what the answer is here. Not even the answer, but I know specifically what kind of the end game is here. And so she's, maybe starting to feel a little lost in that way, which is ironic, because you think that somebody that finds that type of answer would finally maybe feel found and feel like they understand. But it kind of shows the weight that comes along with having that type of knowledge. So that was really interesting, and it was really it was nice to hear what Amenadiel had to say to Linda. You still have more questions. Just because you get this one answer doesn't mean, like there's not a million other questions that spring from that. And that applies to a lot of things in life, I think, and you can take that and apply it to a lot of things. I do still kind of feel like in this situation, the answer that she did get is so big that it does seem like that would negate a lot of questions. And I'd be like, dang, I can understand where she's coming from, but I understand where Amenadiel is coming from too, saying that there's more questions to be had even from that. So that was a nice thing. And then it almost seemed like they might have been about to have a little moment there on the beach. I don't know. I don't know where that's headed. That was pretty cool. Also, Ella and Charlotte, I really enjoyed their scenes, just the way that they kind of brought somewhat of a horror movie vibe to it and had Ella so scared of her. and everything. That was really funny, and it was also a really relatable scene there on the elevator. So a lot of that was pretty fun. The only kind of gripe that I have with Charlotte now, and maybe this is just because we haven't really gotten to know her yet, is she doesn't feel different enough from the goddess to me, just in her overall, her overall vibe. You know how sometimes an actor, when they're playing a different character, they'll like completely just shift the whole vibe of their, like the way they stand, the energy they give off. It just feels almost like a different person, even though you're looking at the same person. Personally, I'm just not yet feeling that between Charlotte and the goddess. Like, it's easy to forget that they are two completely different entities, because right now Charlotte still feels pretty similar to the goddess to me. And maybe that's just me, or maybe that's going to change more as things progress. But right now, that's definitely the way that I feel. And I guess that's not the worst thing in the world, but I would have really thought it was cool if, like, when she's Charlotte, it's just like a completely different vibe about her. And you can just look and be like, wow, this really is a different person in there. But, and I mean, it's not that it's not like that at all. It is a little bit of a difference. I guess I just personally wished it was a little bit more to it. But like I said, maybe it's just me, and maybe it'll grow more as we go. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my thoughts for the episode. Really fun episode. Not my favorite of the season so far, but definitely still a thumbs up from me. I did enjoy it. It did make me want to see what's going to happen with, the rest of the season, because it felt like we still didn't really get into much of the like the story, the overarching season story in this episode, which is fine. I'm just kind of looking forward to when we do get back to that. They mentioned that the lieutenant, I think he is, Pierce, the Pierce guy, that he's gone for surgery or something. So maybe when he gets back, we'll get more back into that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, fun episode. Enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what happens next. So go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon for the full uncut reaction posted weeks ahead of the YouTube schedule, if you're interested in that. That'll be it. Until next time, I'm Anthony, and I'll see you all later.